clean and unclean food. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron said to the Israelites, of all the animals that live on land, these are ones you may eat. You may eat any animal that has a divided hoof and that chews the cud. There are some that only chew the cud or only have a divided hoof, but you must not eat them. The camel, though it chews the cud, does not have a divided hoof. It is ceremonially unclean for you. The hyrax, does it chew the cud, does not have a divided hoof. It is unclean for you. The rabbit, though it chews the cud, does not have a divided hoof. It is unclean for you. The fig, though it has a divided hoof, does not chew the cud. It is unclean for you. You must not eat their meat or touch their carcasses. They are unclean for you. Of all the creatures living in the water of the sea and the streams, you may eat anything fin and scales. But all creatures in the sea or stream that do not have fin and scales, whether among the swimming things or among all the other living creatures in the water, you are to regard as unclean. And since you are to regard them as unclean, you must not eat their meat. You must regard their carcasses as unclean. Anything living in the water does not have fins and scales, it is to be regarded as unclean by you. These are the birds you are to regard as unclean and not eat because they are unclean: the eagle, the vulture, the black vulture, the red kite, and kind of black kite, and kind of raven, the horned owl, and screed owl, the gull, any kind of hawk, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the white owl, the desert owl, the osprey, the stork, any kind of heron, the hawk, and the bat. All flying insects that work on the floor are to be regarded as unclean by you. These are, however, some flying insects that work on all four that you may eat. Those that have jointed leg for the hopping on the ground. Of these you may eat any kind of locust, katydid, cricket, or grasshopper, but all other flying insects that have 4 legs you are to regard as unclean. You will make yourself unclean by these. Whoever touches their carcasses will be unclean till evening. Whoever pick up one of their carcasses must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean till evening. Every animal that does not have a divided hoof or that does not chew the cud is unclean for you. Whoever touches the carcass carcass of any of them will be unclean. Of all the animals that work on all four, those that work on their fowls are unclean for you. Whoever touches their carcasses will be unclean till evening. Anyone who picks up their carcass must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean till evening. These animals are unclean for you. Of the animals that move along the ground, these are unclean for you: the weasel, the rat, any kind of great lizard, the gecko and monitor lizard, the wall lizard, the skink, and the chameleon, or those that move along the ground. These are unclean for you. Whoever touches them when they are dead will be unclean till evening. When one of them dies and falls on something, that article, whatever it uses, will be unclean. Whether it is made of wood, cloth, hide of sackcloth, put in water, it will be unclean till evening, and then it will be clean. If one of them fall into a clay pot, everything in it will be unclean, and you must break the pot. Any food are allowed to eat that has come into contact with water from any soak pot is unclean, and any liquid that is drunk from such a pot is unclean. Anything that one of their carcasses fall on becomes unclean. An oven or cooking pot must be broken up. They are unclean, and you are to regard them as unclean. A spring, however, or 6 tons for collecting water remains clean. But anyone who touches one of these carcasses is unclean. If a carcass fall on any seed that are to be planted, they remain clean. But if water has been put on the seed, and the carcass fall on it, it is unclean for you. If an animal that you are allowed to eat die, anyone who touches its carcasses will be unclean till evening. Anyone who is some of the carcass must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean till evening. Anyone who picks up the carcass must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean till evening. If every creature that moves along the ground is to be regarded as unclean, it is not to be eaten. You are not to eat any creature that moves along the ground, whether it moves on its bare leaf, or walk on or floor, or on many feet. It is unclean. Do not defile yourselves by any of these creatures. Do not make yourself unclean by means of them, or be made unclean by them. I am the Lord your God. Consecrate yourself and be holy, because I am holy. Do not make yourselves unclean by any creature that move along the ground. I am the Lord who brought you up out of Egypt to be your God. Therefore be holy, because I am holy. These are the regulations concerning animals, birds, every living things that move about in water, and every creature that moves along the ground. You must distinguish between the unclean and the clean, between living creatures that may be eaten and those that may not be eaten. Purification after childbirth. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the woman who becomes pregnant and they give birth to son will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days, just as she is unclean during her monthly period. On the 8th day, the boy is to be circumcised. Then the woman must wait 33 days to be purified for her bleeding. So she must not touching anything sacred or go to the sanctuary until the day of her purification are over. If she gives birth to a daughter for 2 weeks, the woman will be unclean. As during her period, then she must wait 66 days to be purified from her bleeding. When the days of her purification for the son or daughter are over, she is to bring to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting a year-old lamb for a burnt offering and young pigeon or a dove for a sin offering. He shall offer them before the Lord to make atonement for her. And then she will be ceremonially clean from her flow of blood. These are the regulations for the woman who gives birth to a boy or a girl. But if she cannot afford a lamb, she is to bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a burnt offering and the other for a sin offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement for her, and she will be clean. Regulation about defilling skin disease. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when anyone has a swelling or a rash or a siny spot on the skin, that may be a defilling skin disease. They must be brought to Aaron the priest or to one of his sons, who is priest. The priest is to examine the sore on the skin, and if the hair in the sore has turned white and the sore appears to be more than skin deep, it is a defilling skin disease. When the priest examines that person, he shall pronounce them ceremonially unclean if the skinny spot on the skin is white but does not appear to be more than skin deep, and then hair in it has not turned white. The priest is to isolate the affected person for 7 days. On the 7 days, the priest is to examine them, and if he see that the sore is unchanging and has not spread in the skin, he is to isolate them for another 7 days. On the seventh day, the priest is to examine them again. And if the sore has faded and has not spread in the skin, the priest shall pronounce them clean. It is only a lash. They must wash their clothes, and they will be clean. But if the lash does spread in their skin after they have shown themselves to the priest to be pronounced clean, they must appear before the priest again. The priest is to examine that person, and if the lash has spread in the skin, he shall pronounce them unclean. It is defiling skin disease. When anyone has a defiling skin disease, they must be brought to the priest. The priest is to examine them, and if there is the white swelling in the skin that has turned the hair white, and if there is raw pressing in the swelling, it is a chronic skin disease, and the priest shall pronounce that unclean. He is not to isolate them, because they are already unclean. If the disease break out all over the skin, and so far as the priest can see, it covers all the skin of the affected person from head to foot, the priest is to examine them, and if the disease has covered their whole body, he shall pronounce them clean, since it has all turned white. They are clean, but whenever raw flesh appears on them, they will be unclean. When the priest sees the raw flesh, he shall pronounce them unclean. The raw flesh is unclean. They have a defiling disease. If their raw flesh changes and turns white, they must go to the priest. The priest is to examine them, and the sores have turned white. The priest shall pronounce the affected person clean. Then they will be clean. When someone has a boil on their skin and it heals, and in the place where the boil was, a white swelling and reddish white spot appears, they must present themselves to the priest. The priest is to examine it, and if it appears to be more than skin deep and the hair in it has turned white, a priest shall pronounce that person unclean. It is a defiling skin disease that has broken out where the boil was. But if, when the priest examines it, there is no white hair in it, and it is not more than skin deep and has faded, then the priest is to isolate them for 7 days. If it is spreading in the skin, the priest shall pronounce them unclean. It is a defiling disease, but if the spot is unchanged and has not spread, it is only a scar from the boil, and the priest shall pronounce them clean. When someone has a burn of their skin, and reddish white or white spot appears in the raw flesh of the burn, and priest is to examine the spot. And if the hair in it has turned white, and it appears to be more than skin deep, it is a depiling disease then that has broken out in the bone. The priest shall pronounce them unclean. It is a defiling skin disease, but if the priest examines it and there is no white hair in the loop, in the spot, and if it is not more than skin deep and has faded, then the priest is to isolate them for the 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest is to examine that person, and if it is spreading in the skin, the priest shall pronounce them unclean. It is a defiling skin disease. If however, the spot is unchanged and has not spread in the skin but has faded, it is a swelling from the bone, and the priest shall pronounce them clean. It is only a scar from the bone. If a man or woman has a sore on the head or chin, the priest is to examine the sore. And if it appears to be more than skin deep, and the hair in it is yellow and thin, the priest shall pronounce them unclean. It is defiling skin disease on the head or chin. But if, when the priest examines the sore, it does not seem to be more than skin deep, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest is to isolate the affected person for the 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest is to examine the sore. And if it has not spread, and there is so yellow hair in it, and it does not appear to be more than skin deep, then the man or woman must shave themselves except for the affected area, and the priest is to keep the isolated there another 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest is to examine the sore. And if it has not spread in the skin and appears to be more than skin deep, the priest shall pronounce them clean. They must wash their clothes, and they will be clean. But if the sore does spread in the skin after they are pronounced clean, the priest is to examine them, and if he finds that the sore has spread in the skin, he does not need to look for yellow hair. They are unclean. If, however, the sore is unchanged so far as the priest can see, and if black hair has grown in it, the affected person is healed. They are clean, and the priest shall pronounce them clean. When a man or woman has white spots on the skin, the priest is to examine them. And if the spots are too white, it is a harmless rash that has broken out on the skin. They are clean. What a man who has lost his hair and his beard is clean. If he has lost his hair from the front of his scarf and has a bald forehead, he is clean. But if he has a reddish white sore on his bald hair or forehead, it is a defiling disease breaking out on his head or forehead. The priest is to examine him, and if the swollen sore on his head or forehead is reddish white like a defiling skin disease, the man is diseased and is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him unclean because of the sore on his head. Anyone which suck a defiling disease must wear torn clothes. Let their hair be unkept, cover the lower part of their face and cry out, unclean, unclean. As long as they have the disease, them remain unclean. They must live alone. They must live outside the camp. Regulation about defiling mold. As for any fabric that is spoiled with the defiling mold, any woolen or linen clothing, any woven or knitting material of linen or wool, any leather or anything made of leather, if the affected area in the fabric, the leather, the woven or knit material, or any leather article is greenish or reddish, it is defiling mold and must be shown to the priest. The priest is to examine the affected area and isolate the article for 7 days. On the seventh day, he is to examine it, and if the mold has spread in the fabric, the woven or knit material, or the leather, whatever it used, it is a persistent defiling mold. The article is unclean. He must burn the fabric, the woven or knitting material, or wool or linen, or any leather article that has been spoiled. Because the defiling mold is persistent, the article must be burned. But if, when the priest examines it, the mold has not spread in the fabric, the woven or knit material, or the leather article, he shall order that the spoiled article be washed. Then he is to isolate it for another 7 days. After the article has been washed, the priest is to examine it again, and if the mold has not changed its appearance, even though it has not spread, it is clean, burn it, no matter which side of the fabric has been spoiled. If when the priest examines it, the mold has faded after the article has been washed, he is to tear the spoiled part out of the fabric, the leather, or the woven or knitted material, but if it appears in the fabric, in the woven knitted material, or in the leather article, it is a spreading mold. Whatever has the mold must be burned. Any fabric, woven, or knitted material, or any leather article that has been washed and is rid of the mold must be washed again. Then it will be clean. These are the regulations concerning defiling mold of woolen or linen clothing, woven or knitting material, or any leather article for pronouncing them clean or unclean. cleaning from defiling skin disease. The Lord said to Moses, "These are the regulations for any diseased person at the time of their ceremonial cleansing. When they are brightening, the priest is to go outside the camp and examine them. If they have been healed of their defiling skin disease, the priest shall order that 2 clean bird and some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop be brought for the person to be cleaned. Then the priest shall order that one of the birds be killed over fresh water in the clay pot. He is then to take the live bird and dip it, together with the cedar wood, the scarlet yarn, and the hyssop, into the blood of the bird that was killed over the fresh water. 7 times he shall sprinkle the one to be cleaned of the defiling disease, and then pronounce them clean. After that, he is to release the live bird in the open field. The person to be cleaned must wash their clothes, shave off all their hair, and bathe with water. Then they will be ceremonially clean. After this, they may come into the camp. But they must stay outside their tents for 7 days. On the 7th day, must shave off all their hair. They must shave their head, or their beard, or their eyebrows, and the rest of their hair. They must wash their clothes and bathe themselves with water, and they will be clean. On the 8th day, they must bring 2 male lambs and 1 ewe rams years old, each without defect, along with 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed of olive oil for the grain offering, and 1 log of oil. The priest who pronounces them clean shall present both the one to be cleaned and their offerings before the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Then the priest is to take one of the male ram and offer it as a guilt offering, as with the log of oil. He shall wave them before the Lord as a wave offering. He is to slaughter the lamb in the sanctuary area where the sin offering and the burnt offering are slaughtered. Like the sin offering, the guilt offering belongs to the priest. It is most holy. The priest is to take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the robe of the right ear of the one to be cleaned, on the thumbs of the right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot. The priest shall then take some of the log of oil, pour in it palms in of his own left hand, dip his right forefinger into the oil in his palm, and with his finger sprinkled some of before of the Lord 7 times. The priest is to put some of the oil remains his palm of the robe over the right ear of the one to be cleansed, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot, on top of the blood of the guilty offering. The rest of the oil in his palm the priest shall put on the head of the one to be cleaned, and make atonement for them before the Lord. Then the priest is to sacrifice the sin offering and make atonement for the one to be cleaned from their uncleanness. After that, the priest shall slaughter the burnt offering and offer it on the altar, together with the grain offering, and take atonement for them, and they will be clean. If, however, they are full and cannot afford this, they must take one male ram as a guilt offering, to be waved, to make atonement for them, there, together with a tenth of the offer of finest flour mixed with olive oil for a grain offering, a log of oil, and 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, such as they can afford, one for the sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. On the 8th day, they must bring them for their cleansing to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting before the Lord. The priest is to take the lamb for the guilt offering, together with the log of oil, and wave them before the Lord as wave offering. He shall slaughter the lamb for the guilt offering, and take some of its blood, and put it on the lobe over the right ear, the one to be cleaned, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe their right foot. The priest is to pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and with his right finger sprinkle some of the oil from his palm 7 times before the Lord. Some of the oil, his palm, he is to put on the same place he put the blood of the guilt offering, on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleaned, on the thumbs of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot. The rest of the oil in his palm, and priest shall put on the head of the one to be cleaned, to make atonement for them before the Lord. They shall sacrifice the dove or the young pigeon, such as the person can afford, one as sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering, together with the grain offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement before the Lord on the behalf of the one to be cleaned. These are the regulations for anyone who has the defiling skin disease and who cannot afford the regular offering for their cleansing. Cleansing from defiling mold. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, When you enter the land of Canaan, which I am giving you as your possession, and put I spreading mud in a house in the land. The owner of the house must go and tell the priest, and I have seen something and that looked like a defiling word in my house. The priest is to order the house to be emptied before he goes in to examine the mold, so that nothing in the house will be pronounced clean. After this, the priest is to go in the inspect the house. He is to examine the mold on the wall, and if it has greenish or reddish depressions that appear to be deeper than the surface of the wall, the priest shall go out the doorway of the house and close it up for 7 days. On the seventh day, the priest shall return to inspect the house. If the mold has spread on the wall, he is to order that the contaminated stones be turned out, thrown into an unclean place outside the town. He must have all the inside wall of the house scraped, and the material that is scraped off dumped into an unclean place outside the town. Then they are to take other stones to replace these, and take new clay and plaster the house. If the defiling mold lingers in the house after the stones have been torn out and the house scraped and plastered, the priest is to go and examine it, and if the mold has spread in the house, it is a persistent defiling mold. The house is unclean. It must be torn down, stones, timbers, and all the plaster, and take out of the town to an unclean place. Anyone who goes into the house while it is closed up will be unclean till evening. Anyone who slept or eating in the house must wash their clothes. But if the priest comes to examine it and the mold has not spread after the house has been plastered, he shall pronounce the house clean, because the defiling mold is gone. The purified houses he is to take 2 birds and some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop. He shall kill one of the bird over fresh water in the clay pot. Then he is to take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet yarn, and the live bird, dip them into the blood of the dead bird and the fresh water, and sprinkle the house 7 times, and he shall purify the house with the bird's blood, the fresh water, the live blood, and cedar wood, the hyssop, and scarlet yarn. Then he is released the live bird in open field outside the town. In this way, he will make atonement for a house, and it will be clean. These are the regulation for any defilling skin disease, for sore, for defilling mold in fabric or in house, and for the swelling of ratio or shiny spots, to determine when something is clean or unclean. These are regulations for the defilling skin disease and defilling molds. Discharges causing uncleans. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when any man has an unusual bodily discharge, so the discharge is unclean, whether it continue flowing from his body or is blocked. It will make him unclean. This is how his discharging will bring out uncleanness. Any bed the man with the discharge lies on will be unclean, and anything he sit on will be unclean. Anyone who touches his bed must wash their clothes and bathe with water, and they will be unclean till evening. Whoever sit on anything that the man with the discharge set on must wash their clothes and bathe with water, and they will be unclean till evening. Whoever touches the man who has the discharging must wash their clothes and bathe the water, and they will be unclean till evening. If the man with the discharge spits on anyone who is clean, they must wash their clothes and bathe with water, and they will be unclean till evening. Everything the man sit on when riding will be unclean. And whoever touches any of the things that were under him will be unclean till evening. Whoever pick up those things must wash their clothes and bathe with water, and they will be unclean till evening. Anyone the man the discharge touches without raising his hands with water must wash their clothes and bathe with water, and they will be unclean till evening. A clay pot that the man touches must be broken, and any wooden article is to be rinsed with water. When the man is unclean from his discharge, he is to count off 7 days for his ceremonial cleansing. He must wash his clothes and bathe himself with fresh water, and he will be clean. On the 8th day, he must take the dove to young pigeons and come before the Lord to the entrance to the tent of meeting and give them to the priest. The priest is to sacrifice them, to one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. Is this way he will make atonement before the Lord the man because of his discharging. When the man has an emission of semen, he must bathe his whole body with water, and he will be unclean till evening, and any clothing or leather that has semen on his must be washed with water, and he will be unclean till evening. When a man has sexual regulation with a woman, and there is an emission of semen, both of must bath with water, and they will be unclean till evening. When a woman has her regular flow of blood, the impurity of her monthly period will last 7 days, and anyone who touches her will be unclean till evening. Anything she lies on during her period will be unclean, and anything she sits on will be unclean. Anyone who touches her bed will be unclean. They must wash their clothes and bath with water, and they will be unclean till evening. Anyone who touches anything she sits on will be unclean. They must wash their clothes and bath with water, and they will be unclean till evening, whether it is the bed or not anything she was sitting on. When anyone touches it, they will be unclean till evening. If a man has sexual regulation with her, and her monthly flow touches him, he will be unclean for 7 days, and any bed he lies on will be unclean. When a woman has discharged of blood for many days at the time other than her monthly period, or has a discharging that continues beyond her period, she will be unclean as long as has the discharging, just as in the days over her period. And any bed she lies on while her discharging continues will be unclean, as is her bed during her monthly period. Anything she sits on will be unclean, as during her period. Anyone who touches them will be unclean. They must wash their clothes and bath with water, and they will be unclean till evening. When she is cleaned from her discharge, she must count off 7 days, and after that she will be ceremonially cleansed. On the 8th day, she must take 2 doves, 2 young pigeons, and bring them to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting. The priest is to sacrifice one for a sin offering and the other for the burnt offering. In this way, he will make atonement for her before the Lord for the uncleanness her discharge. You must keep the Israelites separate from the things that make them unclean, so they will not die in their uncleanness for defiling my dwelling place, which is among them. These are the regulations for a man with a discharge, for anyone made unclean by an emission of semen. For a woman is her monthly period, for a man or woman with a discharging, and for a man who has sexual regulation with a woman who is ceremonial unclean.